For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Appreciate you tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. So, if you're a person of color, you probably weren't nominated for an Oscar. How crazy is this? This whole, Oscars, what is it, Oscars are white or whatever the hashtag thing is? Everything is about race these days. There's just this conspiracy. Look at this. We're 30 seconds into the show. I'm already launching into the controversy and scandal. I really don't know. I think people are just uptight. I personally thought you get nominated for awards based on your performance and who, you're nominated for a screenwriting award if your writing was great. You're nominated for an acting award if your acting was great. Isn't that how it goes? It doesn't mean that you were better than anybody else to get the nomination. It's just that you were one of the top 5 people of the year, or however you want to look at it. But apparently it doesn't work that way, because everything is about race these days, and I think it's just sad. It's just sad. I used to laugh at the people who... I worked with a graphic designer, and she was a lesbian, and... everything that happened to her, or everything that was bad, or whatever, it was because she's gay. So-and-so doesn't like me. Well, it's because I'm gay. Or he doesn't treat me fairly. Well, it's because I'm gay. Stop playing the bloody victim for everything. Because I worked with those same people, and that guy was not homophobic, let me tell you. It wasn't. So, I don't know, and then there's always just these... people are trying to find scandals, I think, is what it is. That seems to be what it is. Honestly. The movies were good. The nomination, you can disagree that this person shouldn't have been nominated and then this person should have been, but at the end of the day, it's all about their performance. I don't know. Anyway, would love to hear your thoughts. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com. Live, L-I-V-E. A little bit stuffed up today, kind of have a cold. Live@jbonair.com. And we're also on Twitter, @The Scribble Show. On Twitter, @The Scribble Show. Now, sad news for Celine Dion yesterday. Now, if you're listening to this on Friday, January 15th, when this show goes live, it was yesterday that Celine Dion's husband, Renee Angel, passed away of cancer. And he'd gone through cancer 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, this time throat cancer. And, you take a moment, and she took quite a bit of time off from her Las Vegas show to be with her family and to be with him and just spend that time. And to me, that's true love. As much as people were critical of their relationship, that he's, 20-some years or however many years older than she was, calling him, her dad or whatever it is, it was love, though. And you prove that by doing what she did, which was saying, I don't need this money right now. This Vegas show can wait. I know that I've got a contract or whatever the deal is. My family comes first. And... you don't see that very often, honestly. You don't see somebody putting their career on hold. We're talking multi-million-dollar deal, contract, whatever you want to call it. She could have been sued, right? She could have been, they could have charged her back with, paying back money. It depends on what the contract stipulates. I don't know what her deal is with Caesars in Vegas, but most companies would be a little bit compassionate about something like that. But, that's also your headlining act. She's helping you pull in tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year. But at the same time, you have to respect that, family does come first. So of course, our thoughts are with Celine Dion, fellow Canadian. And, we were just in Quebec last month for our syndicated radio shows. We were in Quebec City. And she's returning there this summer, actually. And maybe we'll be back there to cover that. But yeah, it's hard to lose somebody. And they had such a close bond. He was her manager for decades, right? And knew her since childhood, since she was a child. And, it was a love. And you can say what you want about love, but love is love, right? You fall in love with whoever, and that's that. How many people have gone through divorces? And yes, he does have kids from a previous relationship, 3 adult kids, but something with his relationship with Celine worked, and who are we to question it, right? It's just one of those things. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers again are with Celine Dion and her family at this time. She's returning to the Vegas stage next month in mid-February. So, it's Friday night for us, or Friday here for us, and that means Undateable on NBC, the live sitcom. Now, if you've been watching it this season, every episode that they've been doing has been live, and they'll do it twice. They do it once for the East Coast and then once for the West Coast, and that's where really observant viewers will kind of spot the differences between the two. Well, we've got David Fynn. He plays the gay bartender on the show. He's joining us, actually, in the next segment, so we're going to get to that in just a little bit, and he's also going to be answering some of your questions. We had you, or we tweeted about that, wanting people to send in questions for David, and so he's going to be answering those on the line with us. So sit back and relax, because the Scribble is just getting started. David Fynn from Undateable is up next.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Well, David Fynn from NBC's Undateable joining us on the line. He plays Brett the bartender. And in case you haven't seen the show this season, the episodes are live, and it makes for some hilarious moments. Hi, David. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So let's backtrack a little. Chris D'Elia was on our show during season 1, and I guess some relationships have started working out, right? Justin's in a relationship. Danny has found love, or he's trying out his intimacy, as we say. How did he say it?
He changed it from scene to scene. So at one point it was intimancin, which
right.
sounds like an old German word. There was intimacy, and intimancin.
Right,
and
right.
But you never, with Chris, you never know what's going to come out.
No, of course. So then my question is, though, are the characters growing up right before our eyes? Are we seeing growth here?
I think so. I mean, I think that's kind of inevitable as you get older. But I think it's kind of with the group, it's kind of like whack-a-mole. I think when one relationship is blossoming, another is unraveling. So I think we're always going to try and balance it. Not everyone's allowed to be happy all at once. There's always got to be someone messing up a relationship in there somewhere, I think.
So when is your chance, though? Any love interest? Because we don't hear your character getting serious with anybody, really.
Well, we've talked about it, but we haven't seen it. But hey, man, I'm ready to step up. I'm ready to smooch a dude now.
Oh, I was gonna say, you're gonna pucker up and you're gonna go for it, right? You gotta, if you're gonna go all out, you gotta play.
I'm ready. Years of training, years of acting training. I'm ready to do it now.
So let's talk about this. Doing a sitcom live, pretty much unheard of, right? Aside from, let's say, sketch comedy shows like SNL, there really isn't this kind of a format of this type of a show, is there?
No, I believe there was one. The last one to do it was in the early '90s. The name of it escapes me now, but I think the thinking behind it was to kind of harness the energy and unpredictability of our cast, because I come from a theatre background, so I've got kind of experience in live performance, and the four boys are stand-ups.
Right.
So there's a kind of anything can happen atmosphere on tape nights, even before we went live, because we do so much improv, and everyone's so comfortable with the live situation, because they all go up on stage most nights at the Comedy Store or at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. So I think the idea was to kind of harness the anything can happen atmosphere that we create as a cast. And we tried it out at the end of last season in the episode with Ed Sheeran, and I think the NBC were very pleased with it, and as were we. And it kind of just makes life a bit more interesting. And we've made so many mistakes this year already. People improvising and it not working, or it working really well, and everyone jumping on top of Scott Foley and kissing him. And so I think it's nice to, like I said, to kind of play to our strengths, but also to kind of have our own kind of unique selling point and have our own kind of individual thing that we can bring to television.
Yeah, well, so you've got some really funny things that happen, but I guess you're also working against the clock, right? I mean, there's always that you can improv as long as you want, but at the end of the day, there's that script and there's that clock ticking going, we've got to wrap up this storyline, right?
And there's Bill Lawrence standing right next to the set, and if we're running over, he gives a wrap-up sign, and if we're running short, he gives us a kind of like a play it out, extend it out sign. So it's kind of, you've got to be on your toes, and we have to kind of get it right to the second. But we've got an amazing crew, and we've got a guy called Marty who does our camera stuff, and he comes from his dad used to do the Oscars, and Marty's done a bunch of live TV. And one of our stage managers, Peter, he's done loads of live TV. He used to do like the Red Bull stunts. So we've got a really slick team, kind of making sure that we get everything in terms of timing right on the button.
Let's talk about that then. So obviously there's a script when you're doing the show, but how much of it is improv? And do you improv because you need to stretch it out, or just because something's happening and you get an idea and you make the joke and you go for it?
Well, we do a lot of improv during the week, so the script is always kind of evolving. And I think what we like to do, and what Bill Lawrence likes to do, is kind of give us a little bit of air in the script, so there's a little bit of space for improving. Obviously there's no, we can't go off on a 3-minute kind of rambling monologue, because
right.
We've got to get a show, including a musical act and credits, in under 22 minutes. But we're given a little bit of air and a little bit of freedom to improv, and we've got cuts ready so that if someone does do a bit of improv and it goes on maybe a little too long, during the commercial breaks, the writers rush onto the set and they go, okay, we're going to do cut number 2, this paragraph's gone, this paragraph's gone, this paragraph's gone, and go. So then you're kind of thrust back out into the light, and everyone's kind of wondering what's going to happen next, because we're not sure of the cuts, but they've got everything, every scenario is kind of prepared for. So there is space for improv, and then if the improv goes well and it runs, then we've got cuts ready to just lift out.
So aside from mauling TV's Scott Foley, what's been the funniest unscripted moment that's happened?
Oh, wow. For me, when that happened, that was amazing. What else has happened? Brent just goes in every episode. Because Chris is so funny, and we're kind of given free rein to try and make each other break. We had a water fight on stage,
yeah,
and we never practiced it on the set until we went live, because they wanted all the reactions to be real. And I think everyone was really surprised with the volume of liquid that was flying around. It was ridiculous. We all got absolutely drenched. The set was drenched. Everyone was drenched. And people were slipping and falling over. I think that was the most fun thing that we've done.
But, don't you ever wonder about, let's say, a swear or something bad happening? The censors must be on high alert at all times.
Absolutely, and, we get fined $7 million if someone swears. Each affiliate, we have to pay each affiliate a fine of $325,000. So if anyone does swear, $7 million. So I think that kind of adds to the jeopardy and the kind of the risk. I think in a way sometimes people are hoping that we do that at some point. But yeah, I think that adds to the kind of the live, the atmosphere of the live show, and the kind of anything can happen atmosphere that we create, I think.
Yeah, well, no, I think, and here I'm going to do this. I think it would be fucking hilarious, and everybody's now cringing.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta have some fun, right? If you can do everything, if you can do it on TV,
absolutely.
You gotta have some fun.
I'm surprised I've never done it myself, and I'm surprised Chris and Brent haven't done it as well.
Well, that's the thing. So, what are the cast potty mouths? Like, do you swear normally a lot or no?
Absolutely. If bloopers and stuff of season 1 and season 2 when we weren't live, and someone would mess up their lines, everyone would go straight to the F word. So immediately, everyone's a potty mouth. And they're stand-up comedians, man. The 4 boys are all stand-up, so, you know, it's part of their trade to be able to be verbose and dexterous with their language, and their use of swearing is beautiful at times.
Right. So, but we've got a bunch of questions that people sent in for you, so if you can stick around for a few more minutes, we'll get to those.
Sure.
All right,
Absolutely.
more with David Fynn right after this.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now. And in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just 1 day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-478-9568 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-478-9568. That's 800-478-9568.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
David Fynn from NBC's Undateable, still joining us on the line now. I mentioned in the last segment a bunch of questions sent in, and so many people want to know about this live element, so let's get to a bunch of those questions now here. Nancy writes, on a Friday night between shows, what do you guys do? Do you watch the first version of it?
No, we don't. Everyone just kind of, we've usually got so many guests. People bring friends and family. So everyone just kind of hangs out, and there's an open bar. So, you know, there's a little bit of kind of calming the nerves and the jitters. But I think there's a kind of a lot of rest and rejuvenation, I think. But yeah, we just all kind of hang out together, and you know, some of us have a drink and some just kind of chill out. Ron, I think, usually has a nap.
There was, on that subject, I just want to find it here. It was, here, actually, somebody named Justin, coincidentally, asks, are you guys really drinking when we see characters have wine and beer?
No, we've got like fake beer coming out of the taps. It's the taps work, but it's fake beer because I think you're not allowed to actually drink alcohol on primetime TV. But right after the show, we switch it out and we get real kegs of beer to run through, and then all the writers and cast and friends and family, everyone just kind of goes on the stage, and it becomes an actual bar.
Wow.
So the real booze comes out pretty soon after we wrap.
No, I was going to say, we're friends now, so I got an invite then, right? I think we'll have
sure.
to... Oh.
Sure. And the beer will flow like wine, sir.
And then we have a water fight after. We throw... No, you don't want to waste beer. You don't want to do that.
No. Not a real beer.
Charlene asks, is it more fun doing it live, or is it more stressful?
It's both, but I think we're all performers, so the fun comes from the stress. It's a huge rush, and there's a lot of adrenaline flying around. So I think the stress is conducive to enjoying it. Actually, it's a good kind of stress, though. Yeah.
Well, it keeps you on your toes, right? Kim asked, has anything gone terribly wrong during a live show that the audience would never have known about?
Has anything gone terribly wrong? There's been no car crashes, I mean, there's a few drop lines here and there, and oh yes, there was one disaster actually. Brent was supposed to be in a scene, and he didn't turn up.
Right.
So we were left hanging, the rest of us. I think it was me, Chris, Ron, maybe Bridget, were kind of left hanging on the stage, and we just had to kind of talk about nothing until he got there, because the story couldn't start until he arrived. So that's pretty much the worst thing that's happened so far. But it's not the end of the world, and we've still got the story out, and people enjoy seeing us mess up, I think.
Well, and what's interesting is that, and I know that a lot of people do what I do, is you watch the East Coast and then you watch the West Coast to see what the differences are. And so if people hadn't seen the other version of it, right, you probably wouldn't have known that he was supposed to be there.
Yeah, because he only did it in one, so you wouldn't have spotted it. But I think that happened in the East Coast one, or for the first time on the second show. But it's usually the East Coast is usually a bit slicker, and then the West Coast show is a bit more kind of a bit more loosey goosey. Everyone's kind of loosened up a bit.
But now that's interesting though, because what's funny is that you've got your audience is watching your show twice, basically, right? What other show would people watch it twice that same night? I don't know really of anybody that does that.
Well, I don't think there's any. You're also getting two very different shows. We get, we kind of put in alternate jokes for the second one. We change things that didn't perhaps work as well as they could have in the first one. Maybe some different improv will happen, or people find new things all the time, especially the comics. They're always finding new moments. I definitely urge people to watch both if they can.
For sure. Quickly, we're running out of time here, but Pam asks, who is the easiest to crack and make smile during a show?
I think Brent is the easiest to crack, but he never goes completely. He'll always smile and he'll crack a little bit. But Bianca is definitely, once she's gone, there's no getting her back. She just kind of, her shoulders go and she starts making this funny high-pitched squealing sound. She is the most fun to make her crack, for sure.
I was going to say, so as a co-star, that would make me want to just step back and then let her go and see how she handles it. But did you guys jump in maybe and try to take the pressure off her, or no?
It gets to the point where if someone goes, it's really funny, but I think everyone's got such good instincts in terms of the timing, so it's kind of, she might go for 10 seconds, but everyone's aware that if we let it go on too long, then story starts getting affected and we start running way too over time. So I think everyone's instincts are good, and people generally know the right moments to jump in and save things, I think.
Right, and finally, I had to save the best one for last year. Irene asks, will you ever get your chest waxed in front of a national TV audience?
Brent's already done that, so I can't imagine they'd do that again. I could get my back waxed, or I wouldn't. If they wanted to shave my head, I wouldn't mind doing that. That'd be fun. But yeah, they've already done the chest thing.
Yeah.
Both Rick and I are both hairier than Brent, so we could get our backs done. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I think that's just. Have you had a wax before though? Like it seemed like it was painful when Brent had it.
Yeah, he'd never had it done before. I've had it on a bunch. Going on vacation and stuff. I'd always get a little tidy up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, maybe that's when your character, gets a new love interest or something. Maybe it'll happen. You never know.
Yeah, he'll have to clean up his act for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to be watching, and we always do, the two versions of Undateable. It's Friday nights live on NBC, right, David?
Yes, correct.
All right.
Live on NBC at 8, 7 Central.
Right. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. It was a great chatting with you.
Thank you very much, sir.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble again at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. So, lots of big news, right? We had the Oscar nominations, Celine Dion's husband unfortunately passing away, like we talked about earlier. And Sunday is the legendary Betty White's birthday. And she had this little peak in her career, in her late 80s, where all of a sudden she was the hot ticket. Everybody wanted her to host SNL, right? So she did it. And her career was just riding this wave. Huge success. Obviously, she'd had success with Golden Girls and Match Game back in, that was the 70s yet. And so during Betty's 90th birthday, I got to tell you this, because if you haven't tuned into our radio shows, you don't know about this. I was at Betty's 90th birthday in Hollywood, and on our radio show, we were live on the red carpet. We had TV legends like Carol Burnett, we had Vicki Lawrence, we had Valerie Harper, we had Ed Asner, we had the cast of Hot in Cleveland, we had the cast of Betty Off the Rockers, which was the prank show, the hidden camera show that they had done. We had Amy Poehler, we had I'm trying to think. We had a lot of people, and it was a great time. And that was one of those moments where a funny thing had happened. Actually, we were about to celebrate an anniversary for the radio show, and I don't remember. It wasn't our 250th show. It was something. We had a milestone. That's how important it was, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even remember what we were celebrating. But nevertheless, I had arranged a bunch of my colleagues and even my friends and family to get together. And I'm not much of a party person. I don't throw parties. And I don't mix my coworkers with my friends, with my family. Everybody kind of is separate. I'm like one of those people that you got the TV dinner and you don't let all the different foods touch. I don't hang out with everybody all together. So this was the first time that I was doing it. And I was kind of nervous. My favorite cover band was going to be performing at the casino in the city. And I got everybody, it was just really convenient that it was a Saturday night. We had this anniversary for the radio show. Let's get everybody together. And I had been wanting to interview Betty White. I wanted to interview B. Arthur before she passed away. That didn't happen. And since Betty was the only living Golden Girl left, I figured, let's do something. So knowing that her 90th birthday was coming up, and that there was an NBC special they were going to be airing, I tried to get an interview with her on the phone. And we tried everything. We tried the rep at NBC. We tried Betty's publicist. We talked to Betty's assistant. We couldn't make it on the phone. It just didn't happen. And we're not even talking about an interview in person where she's got to get in hair and makeup and travel somewhere, and it wasn't like that at all. It was just have her call in for 4 minutes. Let's do this. And we just couldn't. So unfortunately my hopes were dashed. Now, I was just about to go out for lunch with my brother when I got an email. I was at the office. I get an email, and it's like, no, you can't interview on the phone, but do you want to cover the red carpet of the 90th birthday that NBC was doing at the Biltmore Hotel in Hollywood? And I was sitting there going, okay, wait a second. This is Thursday. The party is Sunday. How do I do this? I've got a party that I'm scheduled to be at Saturday that I've arranged. How do I not show up at my own party but yet go to Betty's 90th the next day? And with the flights the way they were, it wouldn't have worked to leave first thing Sunday morning. I would have got there after the party. So, or during it, or some, I just would have missed it. And so it was kind of like, oh boy. I was going to a buffet with my brother where we tend to sit there for about 2 hours. We eat, we talk, we eat, we talk, we eat, we talk. I had no appetite because I didn't want to tell him. First of all, this was the most exciting news that I've had in my career, probably ever. And I'm wanting to tell everybody, but I'm sitting there going, oh crap, people are going to be pissed off that I'm bailing on this party that I've arranged in 2 days. And so he knew something was up with me, and he kind of, it took a little bit of probing to get me to finally open up. But that's where I said, I was just invited to Betty's birthday to do this red carpet and then attend the telecast and the party. And he's just like, that's a no-brainer. People are going to understand. They know that you love Golden Girls and you love Betty, and, go for it. This is the one. She was only going to have one 90th birthday, so absolutely go for it. And so then I had to start breaking the news to everybody. And again, my stomach's in knots because I'm worried that they were going to be pissed off at me and freaking out. And instead everyone was like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. So it ended up being really cool because I got to ask her a question during the press conference. We've got that coverage actually online still. If you want to go to it, it's live.jbonair.com, live.jbonair.com. And then you go to /Betty, betty.html, or just the main site, live.jbonair.com, and at the bottom you'll see a picture of Betty's birthday there, and you can click and you can see the pictures, you can hear the interviews that we did, and you can see the video of me asking her a question at the press conference. So live.jbonair.com. And I gotta tell you though, it was the funniest thing because I had the poops on the plane. I was quite nervous but excited at the same time. And everybody was telling me, you know what, live in the moment. This is something completely different that you've never covered before. This is huge for you. Just enjoy it. And of course, I'm sitting there going, we're doing a live broadcast though. There's an added element of nervousness. We just heard David Fynn talking about that a couple seconds ago, right? And you don't want to be a bumbling fool. You don't want to ask the wrong things. You don't want to go over time because we're constricted with the time frame that we have. So there's a lot of pressure of that. But then after the red carpet was done, it's like, let's just enjoy this party because it was just a really fun roast in a sense. And so yeah, it was probably one of the most fun events I've covered doing the radio shows. And it'll be 10 years in April that we've been doing the radio show. So, well, you know what? We're out of time. What a great 30 minutes it's been. Thanks to David Fynn. Again, Undateable Live is Friday nights on NBC. To follow along with the two broadcasts, East and West, and then also tweet me up. My Twitter is at SF, as in Speak Free, SF Celeb Watch, as in Celebrity Watch, SF Celeb Watch, and you can follow along with my tweets about The Bachelor on Monday nights and all the other fun stuff that's going on. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a Speak Free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,